Good evening, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. British Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner resigns, admits to underpaying property tax. Anuthin Chanvirakul, elected new Prime Minister of Thailand, replaces Paetongtarn Shinawatra, ousted by court over unethical conduct. And US job growth slows sharply in August, unemployment rate ticks higher. In a major blow to Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Labour government, UK Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has resigned days after admitting to underpaying tax on a property in southern England. In a letter to Prime Minister Starmer, she says she takes full responsibility for the error of not seeking further tax advice on the purchase. Rayner acknowledged that she had underpaid property tax owed when she bought an apartment in the southern English seaside resort of Hove. Amid the ongoing government reshuffle in the UK, Prime Minister Starmer accepted her decision to resign, adding it's a painful decision to take. Rayner said she had decided to quit after findings of an independent investigation, which concluded that she did not heed the caution of legal advice she had received and had breached the ministerial code. In other news, Bhum Jatai party leader Anuthin Chanvirakul has been elected as the next Prime Minister of Thailand after parliamentary voting on Friday. His election ends the ongoing political chaos in the country after the dismissal of former Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra. The opposition People's Party backed Anuthin's candidature in return for his promise to dissolve the parliament within 4 months. 58-year-old politician, who was also the Deputy Prime Minister under the ruling coalition, led by Paetongtarn's Pheu Thai party, had split earlier in June. This came after the then Prime Minister Shinawatra leaked phone call with former Cambodian leader Hun Sen on border disputes. He'd also served as Minister of Public Health in Prayut Chan-o-cha's government from 2019 to 2023 and as Interior Minister in the Pheu Thai-led government since 2023. Thailand has been reeling under political chaos after the Constitutional Court dismissed Paetongtarn Shinawatra last month. Shinawatra was removed on the grounds of ethics violation. In other news, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that any Western troops deployed to Ukraine would be legitimate targets for Moscow to attack, and a warning to Kiev's allies as they discuss measures for its future protection. President Putin was speaking a day after French President Emmanuel Macron said 26 countries had pledged to provide post-war security guarantees to Ukraine, including an international force on land, sea and in the air. Russia has long argued that one of its reasons for going to war in Ukraine was to prevent NATO from admitting Kiev as a member and placing its forces in Ukraine. Putin's comments highlighted the gulf between Moscow's position and that of Kiev and its Western allies on the shape of future security guarantees for Ukraine under any agreement to end the 3.5-year war. And earlier on Thursday, Kiev's European allies in Paris summit pledged to support security guarantees to Ukraine after the peace deal is reached. French President Macron told reporters that 26 Western allies have formally committed to deploying troops by land, sea or air to Ukraine the day after a ceasefire deal is agreed.
26 countries have committed themselves to deploying troops in Ukraine as a reassurance force or to being present on ground, at sea or in the air to provide this reassurance to Ukrainian territory and to Ukraine the day after the ceasefire or peace.
The meeting of 35 leaders from the so-called coalition of the willing of mainly European countries was intended to finalize security guarantees, US contributions to the guarantees would be finalized in the coming days. The French president, European leaders, Ukrainian President Zelensky also held a call with US President Donald Trump after the Paris summit. In other news, Israel on Thursday claimed that its forces now control about 40% of the Gaza city. Israeli military spokesperson Brigadier General Efi Defron in a news conference said that the forces have seized large parts of the Zetoun and Sheikh Radwan neighborhoods. He further said the operation will continue to expand and intensify in the coming days. The Israeli military spokesperson reiterated that the campaign would only end when Hamas's control was dismantled and Israeli hostages were returned. Israel launched the latest offensive on Gaza City on the 10th of August, describing it as a mission to eliminate Hamas fighters entrenched in the area.
Today we hold 40% of Gaza City. The operation will continue to expand and intensify in the coming days. Hamas will face the Israeli armed forces in their full force in Gaza City. We will increase the pressure on Hamas until it's destroyed. We will continue to pursue them everywhere.
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Thursday that Washington has told other countries that recognition of Palestinian state will cause more problems. Britain, France, Canada, Australia and Belgium have all said they will recognize the Palestinian state at the United Nations General Assembly later this month. The move are designed to put pressure on Israel to end its assault on Gaza and curtail the building of new Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank. Rubio was speaking while on his visit to Ecuador. Rubio also said he would not opine on Israeli discussion of annexation of West Bank, but that it was not final.
We told all these countries, we told them all. We said, if you guys do this recognition stuff, it's all fake. It's not even real. If you do it, you're going to create big problems. There's going to be a response from Israel. You're going to make it harder to get a ceasefire. And it may even trigger these sorts of actions that you've seen, or at least these attempts at these actions.
US President Donald Trump plans to sign an executive order on Friday to rename Department of Defense as the Department of War. According to the White House fact sheet, the order would authorize Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to identify himself as Secretary of War in official documents and public communications. Since taking office in January, Trump has set out to rename a range of places and institutions, including earlier the Gulf of Mexico. Some more updates from the US. The US economy added significantly fewer jobs than expected in August, the government data shows. Overall, the figures confirm a slowdown in the labor market of the world's biggest economy as businesses pull back on hiring while grappling with uncertainty sparked in large parts by tariffs. Department of Labor said the job growth came in at about 22,000 last month, down from July's 79,000 figure. The jobless rate edged up from 4.2% to 4.3%. The report further noted that job growth in June, while earlier estimated at about 14,000, was revised to a 13,000 decline. Friday's report is the first since President Trump fired the agency's head, Erika Bekentafa, over accusations of releasing inaccurate data. Czech opposition politician Andrej Babis launched his party's election campaign on Thursday, taking aim at the government of Prime Minister Petr Fiala and the European Union. Babis said a government under ANO would be a defense against nonsense from Brussels. He also pledged to stop sending weapons to Ukraine. Opinion polls for next month's parliamentary election shows ANO winning the most votes with over 30%. This time, as many as 7 parties could exceed the 5% threshold to win seats in parliament, meaning the next government is almost certain to be a coalition. The vote is scheduled for October 3rd and 4th. In other news, Afghanistan continues to reel under earthquakes as multiple tremors hit the nation in a span of about 4 days. According to German Research Center for Geosciences, a 5.4 magnitude earthquake shook the southeast region on Friday morning, hours after one late on Thursday night. The latest aftershocks triggered fears of more deaths and destruction in a region where about 2,200 people have already died in the quakes in just 4 days. The week's first earthquake was magnitude 6, just minutes before midnight on Sunday, was one of Afghanistan's deadliest, unleashing damage and destruction in a province of Nangarhar and Kunar when it struck at a shallow depth of about 10 kilometers. A second earthquake of magnitude 5.5 on Tuesday caused panic and interrupted rescue efforts as it sent rocks sliding down mountains and cut off roads to villages in remote areas. Meanwhile, the World Food Programme has sent emergency aid to Afghanistan's quake-stricken Kunar and Nangarhar province. Initial aid shipments include food supplies, high-energy biscuits, additional flights scheduled to deliver further assistance and personnel. Many of the communities affected by the earthquake were already struggling after recent flash floods, and worsening weather conditions now threaten to exacerbate the humanitarian crisis. Health authorities in Democratic Republic of Congo have declared a new outbreak of the Ebola virus. The latest outbreak killed 16 people so far. 28 suspected cases have been recorded in the central Kasai province. World Health Organization has said the case numbers were likely to increase as the transmission was ongoing. Ebola is a rare but often fatal illness in humans. It is transmitted through contact with blood and other bodily fluids. Congo has recorded over a dozen outbreaks, in the last one in 2022 in the Aquatics province. A devastating 2018 to 2020 outbreak killed nearly 2,300 people in the country. The World Met Organization reported on Friday that wildfires, likely intensified by climate change, contributed significantly to air pollution last year. Regions such as the Amazon, Canada, Siberia, and Central Africa experienced major pollution spikes due to intense fires. WMO also warned that smoke from record wildfires in Europe this year could impact air quality in neighboring countries. The organization's scientific officer, Lorenzo Labrador, emphasized that air quality and climate change must be addressed together. According to World Health Organization, air pollution causes over 4.5 million premature deaths annually. However, some progress has been made in eastern China, where pollution levels have declined. Let's turn to some more stories coming in from across the world. In Belarus, a Polish national was arrested on suspicion of espionage for having documents related to forthcoming Belarusian-Russian military exercises. Poland said the move was a provocation that would receive a response. BMW unveils new Class iX3 electric sports utility vehicle on Friday, a key model for the German car maker that could help it reclaim some of the market share lost in its largest market, China. The model will enter production at the end of the year, go on sale in Europe in March 2026 at a price of about 68,900 euros or upwards of $80,000. The Embassy of Uzbekistan in Turkmenistan's Ashgabat hosted a reception dedicated to the 34th Independence Day celebration. The reception offered a chance for guests to experience the rich Uzbek culture. A specially organized exhibition was filled with bright colors, folk arts, food crafts, and national clothing. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Mauritius Prime Minister Ram Ghulam to visit India beginning September 9th to hold bilateral talks with Prime Minister Modi. India's External Affairs Minister calls on Bhutan's Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay in New Delhi.
We're always on the move, to the market, to work, to meet our friends. But how often do we stop and think about, is there a cleaner, affordable and eco-friendly way to travel?
Since switching to this e-rickshaw, I feel so much better. Everything is easier with this battery-powered rickshaw.
Our research is focused on a less mature technology, which will be less costly, so it'll be more economically viable.
If you plant new saplings, they'll take 10 years to grow. When we replant the trees, we are also retaining the oxygen the trees provide and preserving greenery.
My dream would be to have a play street / parklet, so we could have the parklet for some adults and some refreshments, and then everyone could come and kids could be playing.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Mauritian Prime Minister Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam will visit India from 9th to 16th of September. India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said this would be Prime Minister Ramgoolam's first overseas visit in his present term.
The Prime Minister of Mauritius, His Excellency Dr. Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam, will undertake a state visit to India from 9th to 16th of September 2025. This will be the first overseas bilateral visit of Prime Minister Dr. Ramgoolam to India in his present term.
And further on White House Trade Advisor Peter Navarro's provocations over India's purchase of Russian oil, MEA has termed them as inaccurate and misleading, saying that India rejects the claims.
This relationship between United States and India is very important for us. Both our countries, we share a comprehensive global strategic partnership which is anchored in our shared interests, democratic values and robust people-to-people ties. This partnership has weathered several transitions, as I said before, and challenges. We remain focused on the substantive agenda that our two countries have committed to, and we hope that the relationship will continue to move forward based on mutual respect and shared interests. We have seen the inaccurate and misleading statements made by Mr. Navarro, and obviously we reject them.
On Russia-Ukraine conflict, India has extended support for an early end and establishment of enduring peace. MEA says India welcomes all the recent efforts towards establishing peace in Ukraine.
As far as the Ukraine conflict is concerned, we welcome all the recent efforts towards establishing peace in Ukraine. We hope that all parties will proceed ahead constructively. India supports an early end of the conflict and the establishment of an enduring peace.
External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, called on Bhutan's Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay in New Delhi today. Jaishankar conveyed warm greetings of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to his counterpart. Later, in a post on X, Minister Jaishankar says that India and Bhutan's unique and time-tested partnership continues to move from strength to strength. He thanked Prime Minister Tobgay for his leadership and guidance. Earlier, Bhutanese Prime Minister, accompanied by his wife Tashi Doma and official entourage, visited Ram Mandir at Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh today. The MEA noted that back-to-back visits underscore the continued close cooperation and deepening of ties between India and Bhutan. Moving on, a landmark day for India's clean energy transition. India's Shipping Minister Sarbananda Sonowal inaugurated the green hydrogen pilot project at VO Chidambaram Port Tuticorin, marking it India's first port to produce green hydrogen. Established at a cost of about 3.87 crore rupees, the facility will produce 10 normal cubic meters of gas per hour for green hydrogen, marking a significant step in fulfilling Prime Minister Modi's National Green Hydrogen Mission and India's net zero commitments. Indian Institute of Technology or IIT Roorkee held its annual convocation on Friday. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh graced the event. The minister said technology plays a pivotal role in development of the nation. India is on its path to becoming the third largest economy in the world. He underlined that the country has made a quantum leap in the space sector while also witnessing a remarkable rise in the number of startups.
In this government in the last 10, 11 years, and I've been going around saying this, that now we are economy number 4. We came from 10 to 4, and then we hope to go to 3 and then 2 and 1. So how do we do that? Where is the value addition going to come from? And that's for the technical people, the researchers and the teachers to think about. So when the value addition will come from those resources which have not been fully explored over the last 60, 70 years, whether that is a sea resource, we have about 11,000 kilometer long coastal area which was never looked into, a whole amount of wealth of mines, minerals, biodiversity, fisheries. Then we have, of course, the space, which is now being opened up to the private sector, started making a quantum leap.
India's Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Mansukh Mandavia unveiled the logo and mascot Jalbir in New Delhi on Friday for the 11th Asian Aquatics Championship. The championship will take place from 1st to 15th October in Ahmedabad. Swimmers from Japan and South Korea are expected to compete at the continental meet, marking the tournament's first edition in the country. The championship will feature swimming, diving, artistic swimming and water polo. Sports Minister Mandavia messaged on X, and I quote, "Congratulations to Swimming Federation of India and the Government of Gujarat for their dedicated efforts in bringing this prestigious event to Bharat. Under leadership of Prime Minister Modi, Bharat is emerging as a global sporting destination equipped with world-class facilities and an inspiring ecosystem for athletes." Bihar is undergoing a transformation and sports is playing a key role in driving this change forward. With several government initiatives aimed at promoting athletics and developing sports infrastructure, the big question is how effectively are these schemes reaching the grassroots? DD India's Gaurav Kumar brings you this ground report on how mix of policy, passion and perseverance is transforming the state's sporting landscape.
For years, Bihar struggled to make its mark on the national sports stage, often missing from the medal tally altogether. But in recent years, the stage has begun rewriting its sporting story, one medal at a time. From government-backed incentives to grassroots development, Bihar is steadily emerging as a rising force in Indian sports. This improvement didn't happen overnight. It is the result of years of effort and encouragement provided at the government level. The Bihar government has been actively promoting sports and athletes. For years, the state has run the Medal Lao Naukri Pao scheme, that is, bring medals, get jobs, under which outstanding athletes are given direct appointments to government jobs. This impact is now visible even at the rural level.
As a silver medalist in Gatka at the Khelo India Youth Games, I was honored to receive a job proposal from the Bihar government. However, due to my age and lack of required qualifications, I had to decline the offer. Despite this, I'm thrilled to see Bihar's sports landscape evolving rapidly, with rural areas benefiting from increased opportunities and athletes like me finding motivation to push their limits.
To strengthen sports and athletes at the grassroots level, scholarship programs like Prerna, Shaksham and Udan are supporting young talent. Instead of building large stadiums, playgrounds are being constructed in every panchayat with the help of Manrega scheme.
I
am proud to see the impact of my letter to the Indian government, which led to the decision to create playgrounds in rural areas through the Manrega scheme. Under CM Nitish Kumar's leadership, Bihar has laid the foundation stone for 6,800 playgrounds, with around 4,500 already ready. This initiative will empower village kids to showcase their talent, fostering grassroots sports development.
One thing is clear, the government has strengthened both sports infrastructure and promotional policies in the state for long-term success in sports, and as a result, Bihar is re-establishing its root in the world of sports.
Bihar has shown his potential. With all the government facilities are there in the rural areas also. They are developing not only the schemes for the rural people, but for the players also, so that they can cash this scheme and grow up to their mark. With cameraman Saurabh Bakshi, this is Gaurav Kumar reporting from Rajgir, Bihar, DD India.
That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.